morning, Earthbending students! Welcome to the channel without the handle. My name is Ray Ray, I'm your host. Today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing Mattel's Avatar The Last Airbender Air series, Airbending Aang. As you can see, I have a lot of collectible items from this amazing show. It's just epic. I can say that majority of my merchandise were manufactured by Mattel, so they're no longer being produced. Most of them are ultra rare and actually very pricey. Some are mint, some are not. I have different versions from all over the world. And I just have more than just action figures, really. I have pins, articles of clothing, stuffed toys, Funko Pops, decors, posters, comic books, Tazos, puzzles, books, games, trading cards, playing cards, promotional items, party favors, stickers, Lego, board games. It's just a crazy lot. I wouldn't say my collection is complete, though I'd say it's really interesting, and I wish for my videos to contribute and be considered as another good source of information for the Avatar community. So if these are the types of videos you'd be interested in, I call you to subscribe because there are gonna be a lot coming your way and you wouldn't want to miss that. As far as I know, there is one non-official list from Avatar Wiki online that I would refer to every now and then to see if I am missing out on any merchandise. Like, who wouldn't want a complete collection, really? But I do not know of any official list of items that are published by Nickelodeon or like Viacom. And if there is such a complete list online, please let me know. I'd like to reference it from time to time. We do have an archive of shop.nick.com, but it was mostly, like stuff from M. Shamayama's Sad and Unfortunate Excuse for a Movie. He who claims to be a misunderstood artist and a genius.
Genius!
Did the definition of genius change in the last 100 years?
Don't know about you, Aang, but the only mad genius I know is Boomy. Anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the very first review and unboxing of this series, Mattel's Avatar The Last Airbender, Airbending Aang. Worth to know that no matter how rare these items are, you can still head on to eBay as your best bet and try and see if you could score a deal. The one that we have here in front of us right now seems to be in a very, very good condition, might have been stored properly, but at the price of $150, now that's way up there. If you can try to get it for like $40, that would be a wicked deal for me. I cannot express how excited I am in doing this. After I've had it for so long, I purchased it off of an eBay seller. Her name's Meowth Mama. Now we're finally going to be able to see what's inside. I have two of these. One I'm going to keep in the package. I'm going to be opening the European version. Emblems of the four nations on the side, nothing on the other side. On the window you see Aang and some of the accessories like a glider, what seems to be a separate staff, which is so inaccurate. Momo. The background looks like a random image of nothing but blue. You can tell from its rectangular carded bubble shaped packaging that it's from the Air series, but of course you can just always look at the insignia at the bottom left. At the bottom you can tell that the European version was manufactured in 2006, a year later from when the American version was manufactured. At the back we have a bunch of different poses, all the other action figures in the series. A notable distinction between how the eyes were painted in both action figures. We'll take a closer look at it later. Now here's a snapshot of how it looks like at the back. For anybody who would want to read it, just pause the video. And here's the clip out of how it looks like at the back of the European version. Now let's rip these open. Oh no, I'm only gonna open one. Yep, and here we have Aang in his outfit that he was wearing when he was introduced to Sokka and Katara in the first episode, A Boy in the Iceberg. It was set in the South Pole with snow everywhere, and all he was wearing was this. During the first season, episode 3, The Southern Air Temple, Aang meets Momo for the first time and decides to keep him. And this is the start of Aang building his gang. You see Aang sporting a pair of martial artist socks and monk-style shoes, Asian-style yellow pants, a red and orange sash tied around his waist, orange monk's cloth for his torso, and that's just about it. The material is mostly made of a combination of hard plastic, rubber. It does have separate parts hanging off of the figure. So coming in close, we can see the paint on facial expression that depicts the innocent Aang. I don't know about the brown eyebrows though. Somebody was playing with the wrong palette. I don't think a lot of viewers know that there were 3 different animation studios, I think, that produced Avatar The Last Airbender. And you'll see a lot of inconsistencies, especially on season 1. Some episodes would have characters with rounded faces and eyes, and you'll see some other episodes where characters have thin, straight necks. And I don't know which episode really to use as a basis for how accurate this action figure's face is sculpted. But I much prefer how JM Animation are fairly consistent across the seasons for any episodes that they have produced. And so I'm going to be using JM Animation produced episodes as a basis for all my characters moving forward. So just at that first glance, I can tell that the Air Nomad's humility radiates in Aang's look here. In the show, Airbending uses palettes that symbolizes their native element, and these colors are yellow, orange, and browns. I only want to point out though that as a young air nomad, proper clothing should have included a long-sleeved yellow shirt under the loose orange shawl. This to me is 50% inaccurate. And as we take a closer look at the paint job on Aang with no other action figure Aangs to compare it with at the moment, I'm gonna say that Mattel didn't do a very good job. And I'm not only referring to the paint job. Let's not get started with them not releasing female characters. I'm looking forward to reviewing this side by side with the Diamond Select version of Aang. If you want to see that, don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss it. I don't know about posability. I'm not very hopeful, but let's check the articulation. Aang's head is on what seems like a pivot joint, limiting the movement to just 360 degrees to the left or right. So no chin action, no tilt action, goodbye to flying poses. The shoulder is a pivot hinge joint combination that allows him to hold his glider while on a flying pose, but useless when you want him to do a fighting pose. Having been in the box for 14-15 years, these plastic joints are now quite brittle, so you gotta be careful. There is a very limiting single hinge joint at the elbow on the pivot joint that can easily make him look like he has an injury. No articulation on his wrists. Crunch forward to this much and back this much. Pivot jointed waist. And similar to the shoulder, we have pivot hinge joint combo for his legs. Like seriously, Mattel, we'd love to have some ball joints here. Legs can go this much further back and this much forwards. Double hinge knee joints that are my favorite so far in favor of posability. Pivot just below the knees, not that we really need that. And finally some ankle articulation, but no rocking side to side, just forwards and a tiny bit of backwards. We don't have any toe action, unfortunately. Fun fact, the arrow tattoos that run down an air nomad's chi pads signify their mastery of airbending. The design was an emulation of the natural arrows on the heads of flying bisons, the original airbenders and animals revered by the air nomads. Another fan fact. I'm not a fan of the rubber clothing because it gets sticky over time, and good thing it's not all over Aang. Here we have Momo, Aang's winged lemur.
Dinner.
I get it. He is tiny, which makes it more economical to include him as an accessory. Although it would have been nice to have a Momo and Appa standalone pack, or perhaps even have them wearing their costumes like in the episode Nightmares and Daydreams. Here Momo seems to be just a stiff figure No movement for arms, legs, his tail and ears, not even his head. Safe to say, it must be easy to get him right, you know. Sculpt, paint, 90% spot on. Bar his size, well, we'll discuss that later. I have a question for my audience. What is Momo's gender? Aang's staff is very iconic in the series, and every fan knows that these are constructed to unfold into a fan-like glider. This is made of hard plastic and painted brown. Like any other airbender staff are delicate and handcrafted by monks.
That's an antique, handcrafted by the monks. It's a delicate instrument.
The shaft of the staff is made of a single piece of lightweight wood. It would have been brilliant to have a mechanism that turns this staff to a glider for the sake of accuracy, which let airbenders control the air currents around the glider and fly. Now, what I don't get is what these notches are for. It's not like as if you could mount it at the back of the airbender. This glider is also made of hard plastic, and the paint detail is almost 100% accurate a representation of the air glider that Aang was using in the series, if you ask me. I do have Aang's glider, also by Mattel, and I will unbox it on one episode in this channel. Keep a lookout. Allow me to demonstrate how Aang's glider clips into his hand. You just need to ease it on through his fingertips and then push it until it clips. It would be very easy for you to clip it in. Similarly, you can also do this with the glider. Just pick one of its fan-like braces and clip it into his hand. You can do this with both hands. There's nothing much to it. It's very difficult for you to find a position where Aang is holding his glider without falling down. The plastic used to create the glider is heavy. Aang stands at 5.2 inches or 17 centimeters. Momo stands at 6 centimeters or approximately 2.5 inches. And as I said earlier, Momo's figure is not proportional to Aang's figure. I have a Momo from Holland's Kinder Egg Surprise, and I think that that is the best sized Momo for this Aang action figure. You tell me. What could have made this action figure better? For starters, from the packaging, a better background would have been nice. Maybe perhaps that of the air temple. That would be amazing. I'd like to have a base and a stand that would have come with the action figure. Some airbending accessories would be nice, like probably the air ball. Aang's very famous for that. What would I like to change? Momo is too big for Aang. He should be a wee tad smaller. And also, the staff and the glider, it should just be one accessory. And finally, I would love to have more moving parts. More moving parts would mean more action. Now overall, I'd like to give this figure a rating of monkey feathers. Oh, this could definitely do with a little paint touch-up for sure.